Hello?
Greetings.
Hello? All right, let's get this show on the road. Ooh, just realized that the chat on the right-hand side should not be there. Let's see. I go that one. Go away. And the bottom one is evil and hard to see, so I'm just gonna take that one off too. If you guys want it back, let me know. All right. Geek out? Yeah, let's just... I don't have a good map for this today, do I? Because we got black on white. How about... That's not gonna work. I was looking to see if I have anything that could go under that. Last time we did the text on the screen, it was teal, so that helped a lot more. But I don't think this is gonna work today. So let's just get those off the screen. That way. If we need them back, we can have them. All right. So, going to quickly switch something over here, and I will show you. I think let's minimize some chat. Oh, don't need to lose that. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to showing my desktop for just a second or two, as soon as I can find it. Multi-purpose, maybe? What's that? Nope, that's not the right one. I don't seem to have the right one I could find this morning. Let's go with one. Sure, that'll do. All right, so I'm just gonna make one minor change for those items, just because it's going to drive me nuts if I don't. So what we're going to do is geek out. That'll get me close enough. Okay, geek out. I'm going to change this one. Edit to new geek out. And the reason for that is that if the people want to know what the geek out category is, they can just type in geek out or new geek out. So let's see, let's go with how do I present that again? Actions. We won't do this all day. I promised Lego we're gonna have Lego. Geek out hide. Oh, it's geek hide. Oh, okay. Oh, that's not what I'm gonna say. Okay, geek out. I'll use that as a duplicate. Okay, edit. Geek out. Hello. Geek out. Chat show. This is a little bit about how I build a command that was not originally part of the plan this morning, but you know, instant change. Geek out chat show. We don't need this one. We need to change that one to be where it was. Did I not have a new one? Huh. Okay, fine. Great command. Geek out. That show. And then that one will be geek out. Oh, wait, we can't spell that. Typos will never work. Okay. Excellent. So we changed that one. And then I don't need any of this stuff. Shift this. Oh, really? You have to delete it all at once? Delete the action. Yes. Wow, what a pain. Delete the action. Yes. I thought I'd be able to highlight and delete a bunch at once. Delete sub action. Yes. Delete sub action. Okay. Now I want to double check. How does it normally work? Get the number. You go black, hide, blue, whatever. Green. Okay, so let's see. We have a black one. Source. Set. Text. Oh, I can't do what I'm trying to do. Alright, well, that's not going to work. That's okay. So then with the commands, let's see, should be a Geek Out chat show. I will disable that one re-edit the old one, just reverse the change I made for now, and I'll fix it later. It's going to be a little more fiddling for me to do it than I thought it was going to be. Let's leave it as is for now and get... Oop, no, don't want to close that. And we want to get onto the Lego that we needed to do today. A lot more interesting. Alright, where did my chat window go? There we go, let's go back to Lego. Alright, so today's plan in the Lego is we are working on... Oh, grabbed the wrong thing. There we go. Today's plan in the Lego is that we are working on the house from Up that we started on the weekend. Yes, excellent thought, Fantastic Sherlock Fox. I did find my coffee. It's one of those need coffee days. But I got all the way down the stairs, quite literally just outside my computer office, and then went, oh my goodness, ADHD person got distracted and didn't take her ADHD meds. So I put the coffee and everything in the office and went rocketing back upstairs. So yeah, it's been one of those days. Wow. Wow. Alright, let's see if I can shrink that on my screen. And I'm just... when I said oops, I had accidentally grabbed the entirety of my OBS screen and moved it to the wrong monitor, which, as you can imagine, is completely detrimental to the system. There we go. Alright, after all of that, we are halfway through. And we're just about ready to do... Oh, no, just kidding. Got the house. So where we got to when we left off, we've got the front of the house built. It looks really good. I like it. And from that angle, it looks like the door is crooked, but it's really not. Yeah. And then on the top, we were starting to put things in the memory box. So we've got a little memory box piece. It says My Adventure Book. And then inside, it actually says... Oops. I can stop dropping things. It actually says, come on, camera, Once Upon a Time. So that's pretty cool. That's in like sort of the upstairs attic of the house. And then come on camera, down here. Please. Thank you. Show my old hands. And then we've got in the house, we have sitting room with a gramophone, and there's a little like change jar. One of those, if you don't remember from last time, as far as the movie goes, if you know, you know. Alright, so we've got those pieces, and there's a lot of references to the movie inside from... Nope, it's going to be purple again. Sorry, guys. Nope, not that one. Got my flashlight. That's okay. So we've got pictures of the couple inside the house. It's pretty cool. Just going to tip this a little bit more this way. You see a bit of the trays I've got on the left-hand side, but it makes it easier so I'm not like leaning what's in front of me being on the left side of the camera. Right? Doesn't work so well. Everything gets tipped. Oh, I want to put this on my over my shoulder. Give me a sec, guys. Get that a little more out there. There. That's probably a little better. I can tip it this way. Come on. My camera. This way. Ah, everything's like askew. Okay, that explains a lot. So we've got the up house. That's a little better. So where we left off in the top corner, you can see I've got the book put in, and then I need to move down onto the next stage. So I've all the pieces that we had spread all over the table, I just put into my trays. So we've got some of these back again. And I'm just going to be pulling from the trays to put them in front of us. Pardon me. Fantastic Sherlock Fox says, I really like this build. I hope so. You bought it. So we've got one little black piece and a gray one of multi-direction. I don't know what we're building out of it, so we'll just try to work it out. We can work it out. We can work it out. It really takes just a silly comment like that to get a whole song stuck in my head. So now I've got We Can Work It Out stuck in my head, which is better than what I had. Better than what I had. I had Bear in the Big Blue House's little mouse going round and round and round in my head. I don't need it. not a very nice mouse. He's rude. Rude and insulting. Okay, so we need... Normally there isn't as many black pieces, so I didn't worry about having a black background, but now I care. Alright, so we have two 2x1 little pieces, and 2x1 on the other side. Well, I think it is a really good set. I'm no bones about it. Oops, I put that on the wrong side. I'm actually quite enjoying the build. I'm definitely enjoying the build, and it's going to look good when we're done. Actually, I didn't even intend it this morning, but I accidentally went full Disney Pixar this morning. I'm wearing a Winnie the Pooh t-shirt, plus I've got a Tinkerbell sweatshirt on. And yes, it is too warm in the house for the sweatshirt, and I'm wearing it anyways. I have a theory on why I'm feeling cold, but that's not necessarily the nicest, so... Let's just say surface area for evaporation is increased, and that can be a challenge for staying warm. Insulation is not compensating for the surface area increase. How's that? All right, so I've got this little piece here, and then it wants one of the little doohickey handle things. There's probably a really big name, like some sort of fancy schmancy name for this thing, but I've never remembered it. It's just the switch handle, like a lever. Or it could be just something simple like a lever, for all I know. Alright, so we have a sticker. Now I have to make sure I get it on the right panel this time. Let's put TV thing. It looks like a Pammy TV. I'll set it up here. It's got some contrast. Here's this panel. I have to put the sticker on. Next question is, where do I put the stickers? Be quick, be... Oh, nope, there it is. Right on my nose. I was going to say BRB, but no, we don't need to. So I'll show you the sticker as soon as we've got it on the panel. Sure, it's really cute. It's Winnie the Pooh and friends, and they're hanging out. We've got like Kanga and Rabbit and Winnie the Pooh, clearly. Tigger, Gru, Piglet, and Eeyore. My favorite... Those of you that are in my Discord will understand why instantly. My favorite Winnie the Pooh character is actually Eeyore. Because he's got a lot of similarities at times. Now, I know I have offset the sticker. If you were to look at the edges, it's far to the right. However, I like it where it is, because I don't think they left enough brown frame on the left-hand edge of the sticker. So, I like it. Alright, so there. On this one you can see they've got like a movie projector with a planet. Which goes onto, come on camera, which goes onto the front of the chunk we've made so far. Now we have ourselves a little TV set. Yay! Which goes on our stand. There. Like that. Alright. Next one. This wants two little black sections. The telescope shaped pieces. That doesn't look right. Yeah, I guess it is. Oop. And it was going on better the first time. There we go. You start to see we're on the second half of the book, in this top corner, and you can just barely see at the bottom left of the instructions right here that our little Russell character, our progression meter, he's gotten onto our page. This is you can tell it's the second half of or like the right-hand page of the book. because the page number is on this bottom corner over here. You can't read it, but it's there. We're on page 69, it looks like. But Russell has now made it onto our side of the page. So we're on the second half, at least. All right. The next one looks like a bed of sorts. We've got one black square and the white circular wedge. Oh, no, it's not going to be a black bed, though. They've got other pieces. We've got 121. There's a purple one. And some light blue. I don't really know what these shapes were ever for originally, like when they were first made, but they definitely have been used for quite a number of beds in the last 5 or 10 years at least. A lot of beds I've been using have, like beds in builds, have that style. And then they want a purple one on the bottom corner. And there we go. And a blue one, very different, going on this corner. But sure, why not? All right, and then we're looking at step 123 in the bottom. We've got, this part's a little harder for you guys to see, so I apologize. Got purple in the upper left. Oh, come on, twist, twist, there we go. Kitty corner. I've got 2 dark blue ones. One in the bottom corner and one in the top corner. Well, I shouldn't say dark blue, medium blue, I suppose. And then we've got 2 pink ones. It's like dots, but square. There we go, so we've got ourselves a cute little bed, which goes in between posts. That is kind of cute. I like that one. All right, so now let's pull this off to the side, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this, flip it over. 2 by 1, and then I need a blue stick. I jumped sideways instead of down. This one. There we go, catch up. 2 more panels. And I think we're starting on the roof, that's just my guess. There's not much left of the house to do. Wait, then we want these again. Pin it down. Panel. Blue strip, sorry. They have fancier names. I'm sure Dadcraft and local Brookshop would tell me all about it. Alright, so we've got those. Put it down because I can see it. And then we've got brown strips. 1, 2, 3. Second from the end. Actually, let's start with the one that goes right across the seam. That's a little easier for me to figure out. Start at the edge. There. 1. And there's this one. Yeah, so we've got the hinge pieces that are starting to fit into place. Side and that side, because these will clip in to some little 2 by 1 spots so the whole thing can hinge on that point. Okay, then we have to flip it over, and we have some wedge-shaped gray. How many do we need? 6. 2, 4, 6. Okay. Oops. Yeah. Right. So let's make sure I get this oriented correctly. I like the details, they're just a little fussy to do. Okay, there's 1. 2. Three. That's it. And then the other ones go 1, 2, 3. Oops, wrong way. RS1. Nice chill for Friday afternoon. Morning, whatever. Part of your day. It's a Friday. It's only 10:30 in the morning here, so morning for me, afternoon for those of you that are in good old DC time or EST. EDT, sorry, let me correct that. It's DCST, which is Dadcraft Standard Time, but Eastern Daylight Time. Okay. And that panel, as expected, goes on this side. I can get those clips to clip in. Uh-oh, come on. 1, 2. Yeah, there we go. So then it hinges onto the side of the building. Yeah, oh, I'm an hour ahead of you. Okay, so you would be an hour west of me, time zone-wise. That makes sense. Okay, so we're on to the next section, which I'm assuming is the roof on the other side. Wow, what a complicated step. Then again, for the gal who needs coffee. Oh, you don't change here. Okay. That makes sense. So I'm an hour ahead of you now, but I won't be later. Does that make sense? We've got a province to the east of us. Would that right now, like I've got extended family in Saskatchewan, so it's the province to the east of us. And in the summer or daytime, we're on the same time as them. So it was great for visiting in the summer. It was fantastic. You don't have to change your watch or whatever. But then every time you go for Christmas, they, unfortunately, you're not on the same time. And the reality was just that we had more opportunity to visit for Christmas or fall birthdays or something rather than actual summertime or springtime events, which therefore meant that we, most of the time, were on a different clock. And it was just mildly frustrating as a kid. But daylight savings times wise, I mean, you guys may have heard it, but if we have to stick on one, so like if our province ever decides to stop changing, I wish they would stop offering us the daylight savings summertime, because from a financial standpoint for businesses as well as parents, I don't like the summertime because it means that things like, getting your kids to bed, you end up purchasing, blackout curtains or blackout blinds or whatever and having a tough time getting them to go to bed when they're all wound up. Whereas in, like, for businesses, you've got parks where the cities would really like, the city park people would really like visitors to not be staying out basically till nearly midnight. You've also got situations where I live in Canada, we used to, when I was a kid, have drive-in movie theaters, but they all went belly up because the sun stays out so long in the summer, which is the best weather for drive-ins. So the sun stays up late enough that it was really fussy, I guess. They ended up having to have a lot of land space to be able to have their movie theaters so that they could have the theaters trying to go the screens trying to go in an optimal direction to be able to show the movie. But most of the time that didn't work. You either had the sun right in behind, which is therefore in your face, or you had the movie screens at a bad angle where you couldn't see the movie very well because the sun was coming across it. They tried to, in the US and parts of Canada, they tried a resurgence of drive-in movie theaters as a result of COVID, sort of like thinking that everybody's safer in their own car, but it just doesn't work with the way the weather is in this, like the sunshine is in the summer. There's just no way they could make it work. So for things like that, I think I would really rather have it darker earlier in the summer and lighter later, I guess. So in other words, in my magic world, which is not realistic at all, I would actually, if we had to keep switching, I would actually rather go the opposite direction. So in other words, I would like to fall back in the spring and spring forward in the fall. But, hey, that can be crazy. And I'm not likely to get any buy-in on that anyways. So later in the year, I'll be the same as you, and an hour different from my relatives. I get it. Makes sense. So, yeah. I'd love to go the other direction, but oh well. I mean, the other thing I think as a gardener, not a very prolific gardener, but as a gardener, I would love to have the hours different in the spring, because it's great when you get up to water your plants and stuff, but in the early part of the spring, at least, when we first go with daylight savings time, you go to water things outside and it's cold. So you need to worry about potentially giving them water when it's not necessarily warm enough to be safe for the plants yet. But, that's a rather minor complaint in all reality. I mean, it's not one that really holds much water. Okay, so this one, little black section snaps into the tan at the bottom. There we go. And weirdly, oh, there we go. Now it fits. I was trying to get it to seal, like they show in the picture. It's sealed up top, and it just didn't want to for me. But there we go. Got it lined up. Okay, next. The other advantage to falling back is if you're going camping, for example. Why do I have one on here? I should have two. If you're going camping, for example, it's nice to have, the opportunity to sleep in with what feels like sleeping in. But the kicker, of course, then is it'll be brighter in the morning. So if you're, say, like a scout leader like myself, one of my least favorite moments at camp is always first thing in the morning, because our scout group, has purchased tents that are reasonably priced, but the difficulty is that they are not dark enough to actually get the youth to sort of stay asleep. So, like in my magic world, I would have tents that are all navy or black or something, and that way you also don't get the kids freezing when you're using them in off seasons. But I don't know best. There's probably reasons, and really, truth be told, as much as I would want it to be otherwise, the world is run by money, and so if it's cheaper to buy a tent that is, yellow, while the inside's all mesh, then that's what people are going to spend money on. One of the tents, there was a question in my Discord recently about, the question of the day was about, what's one of the next things on your purchase list? And so I put down a lighter weight tent. But, I mean, in looking at the tents, there's a gray roofed version, like light gray, or mid-green, I suppose. I could grab one of those. That is actually $30 cheaper than the navy one. If I can afford to spring for it, I want the navy one. Oh, thanks. It's straight enough. It's not perfect, but it's straight enough. But thanks for catching that. So I would like to, get the darker one, just because then I'm not waking up as easily at like 5:30 in the morning. It's not my cup of tea. I'm not a morning person. Our youth, and that's the thing, is like adults, it's one thing because we have to get up and make breakfast for the kids. At the younger sections, the older ones, thank heavens, 11 and up, they do it for themselves, which is great. The Scouters don't usually sleep in any later, but the point is that we don't have to be up at like 6 to start making food for them. But they, if I could get them to sleep a little later, not the teens per se, they never get up anyways, but the younger sections, if I could get them to sleep a little later, that would give the adults a bit more flexibility to get our jobs done before they're hopping out of bed going, when's breakfast? It's like, oh, for crying out loud, kid, shut up. We just got up. Actually, it's funny. I shouldn't have said that, but there's one in particular who I'm looking forward to them getting up to the Scout level where they can make their own breakfast, because I swear, they have a hollow leg. Like, everything just seems to go right through this guy. And he's always wanted to know when's the next meal. He'll eat till he says he's nauseously stuffed. As in, like, if he eats any more, he'll be sick, kind of thing. But then, like, 20 minutes later, he wants to know when lunch is. And then rinse and repeat. The same thing. Every time. He's a little bit of a slim kid, too. I mean, he eats plenty at his parents' house and stuff, but he's just a high metabolism kid. And so if I could get him to sleep later, that would be fantastic. My parents actually had a Navy tent growing up. That's part of why I got used to that. Is because it makes it a little bit easier to not wake up early in the morning. I would too. I mean, I would say Fantastic Sherlock Fox has a metabolism closer to that. Not, the permanent hungry bit, but burning a fair bit. However, he also is a pacer. So the fox loves to pace. I'm hoping his new job that he's starting will let him pace in the hallways or something, or I don't know, get out for walking meetings, because he is definitely one that needs to move, and that does affect a little bit about metabolism. I unfortunately, well, as you guys can see, am one where all the high speed needs to move is in my head. So the thoughts are racing very frequently, but the body does not necessarily agree. So yeah, I'm looking at hopefully getting like a bike that I'm comfortable with. I like when I grew up, we had no choice. We had to do bike rides with the parents. Like, it was just a thing that my parents did, is you bike ride. Fantastic Sherlock Fox can vouch. His in-laws are kind of weird that way. But what that meant is that I got comfortable with going on a bike ride, and sometimes the speed with which I can walk physically is slow by comparison, so I get bored, and you don't get from point A to point B all that effectively. There it is. So I'm hoping I can get to a spot where I got a bike I like, because then I could just nip down to the neighboring neighborhood, I guess. And because we're on one where our neighborhood's a little isolated by like water features and stuff. And we're on the south side of a highway, whereas the majority of this city is on the north side of this particular highway. So you can go for a walk or go for a bike ride in the neighborhood, but you're literally going around in circles. When you're consulting, sure. I can see that. When you're consulting, I could totally see that it doesn't have a whole lot of room for pacing because they want you to sit still. That said, you're not always consulting in your current job. Oh, like the new one. But Fantastic Sherlock Fox at least has the advantage that some days of the week on his current / new job, he'll be taking some transit. So which means that he's got to at least walk from the office to the transit, which at the moment is an awful lot more than I'm doing. I can't seem to just go for a walk for the sake of going for a walk. It just doesn't work for me. If I was to go for a hike, great, but that takes all kinds of time and planning. And yeah, planning ain't my strong suit. I have no idea what we're making here. It's a thing, but I don't know what. Okay, let me just double check. One by, look at the screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, that's not it. There, that's better. I moved. Right now I'm leaning into the camera. Can't win them all. It's also not that big an office as near as I can tell. I should be able to walk from wherever I park or from the rail line to the office. It's on the 22nd floor, so maybe you can do stairs once or twice a day? Wow. But even so, I mean, it's still more than I do, I'll be honest. We have a 2-story house with a furnished basement. That's the majority of what I do. So I really need to get out more. But see, you can't knit or read or game while you're in motion. Podcasts are great, you know, audiobooks are great. That's fine, I guess. But it's not, you can't knit or game while you're in motion. It just doesn't happen. So, yeah. But that's okay. You know, I'm not here to be grousing about that sort of stuff. Because I've got one particular therapist person I'm working with lately who can't seem to get it out of her head that she figures I've got an image problem. And I may, but it's not anywhere near as big as she thinks it is. She wants to focus on that sort of stuff. And it's like, no, I have other things I need to fix first that will then allow me to focus on image things later. Anyway, don't need to whinge about that stuff. 1, 2, 3. If Mama Bear says to Fantastic Show Fox, good for you. And, it's here. Fantastic Show Fox responds that he's been away from the gym for a few weeks due to the busyness of wrapping up with his previous employer. He promised himself he'd get back to it before he starts the new job. You know, it might end up being one of those ones where occasionally he's got to take a gym bag or a backpack and just leave it in the car, which is parked near the train station. And then, you know, have days where he comes home from work. I actually do dinner, which would be a surprise in itself. And then he just heads, instead of going straight home, he heads off to the gym. The only problem with doing that, though, is the gym happens to be in a building where it's also one of the local high schools. And so he'd have to contend with the high schoolers. You know, the ones that are on their cell phones taking selfies or showing each other cheesy memes rather than giving up the machines to share with other people. That would be a little too much to ask for these youth. The advantage Fox is hoping to have going forward is that A, the new company pays for his gym, and B, on days he takes transit, the train station's right across from the gym. Exactly. Well, I mean, and the other thing actually that had occurred to me is, if I remember correctly, the membership that you use is not insisting on being sort of beholden to one location. There we go, Technic pins. There we go. So if need be, I don't know how you'd pack all your stuff, but if need be, there is a location of that company in the core. So I don't know if you'd be able to transfer to that one. I know there's plenty of people that from the years I used to work downtown, although that was like a decade ago, they still, like, they would go to work and then stop at the gym before they went home afterwards. So there's always possibilities. And somehow, I'm not quite sure how he manages, but somehow Fox always seems to find a solution. So I have a suspicion you'll find a solution this time as well. There's going to be a lot of changes just because there's a lot that over the years Fox has kind of let me get away with being a little less than helpful. And I'm hoping to change some of that. But we'll have to see, you know. There's the intentions and the realities, and we'll see which actually comes up. Thinking about that, as the office is 1 block from what used to be the Eau Claire Marketplace. Yeah, it's actually used to be a nice artsy market zone in our downtown core. The thing is that it could never really keep tenants in the building that were making it, like, helping it make enough money. So it used to have a movie theater that left. It was one of the movie theaters that was like early. I think this was the first in our city, or maybe the second. Can't recall. But one of the two would have one of those like IMAX scale theaters, and those IMAX theaters are amazing. So we used to make a whole, years ago, make a whole evening out of it, right? But then it also had artsy places like a shop specializing in high-end pajamas, or it had an amazing candy shop with import candies. It actually had two of them, to be honest. And then it used to have like an open-air produce section, so people on their lunch hour could come in and get some, whatever you want, like veggies or something for your lunch or your. And then they also had stations where you could just like buy salad by the weight and stuff like that. Like they had those sorts of things, and then it turned into being art galleries, which of course don't always make a whole lot of coin, particularly in the downtown core. One of the problems what I found was that the art galleries, for example, didn't have delivery services. So if you bought a painting there, they would package it all up and then you had to figure out how to get home yourself, which is great, except when you're in the middle of the downtown core and your business people buying are usually like they've taken transit to get there. So you're not going to take your, $5,000 painting on transit all that effectively. There are other things too, but they ended up with a weird bunch of eclectic shops and then just had trouble keeping them filled. So eventually it just became the property was more valuable to developers for expensive condominiums. And they couldn't even keep restaurants. Like we used to have Hard Rock Cafe, so a very international restaurant chain, a lovely Hard Rock Cafe, but it wasn't in the main building. It was across the street in its own building. I think that one lit on fire actually at one point. And there was some other thing. They used to have, there was another restaurant in the parking lot area that changed to about 3 different recognizable names before it finally vanished. So there's pieces like that, and then there's some spots where the area would be busy seasonally. So like in the summer, the place was hopping because you'd have all kinds of festivals in the city park nearby. So the ice cream shop would be crazy busy and so forth, but that never lasted. So eventually they just took it down in the last year, 2 maybe? I don't know. My math is, we've talked about this, my perception of time is really screwball, so, I'm offset there. But the point is that realities are hard, and which give you the distractions that result in you being back at a few. Totally. You do what you need to do. It's always drop in, drop out when you're able to be here. You have the power. When you're not, that's fine. No problem. We still get by. All right. So, our Eau Claire Market disappeared, and I was sad. They still have, actually, I guess it's international, so they still have a YMCA, which, instead of what the name implies, it's actually now a more of a fitness and recreation business, to be perfectly frank. So the YMCA's, are, where you can go to the gym, and sometimes they'll have extra pieces like a climbing wall or something like that. Steam rooms, and I think the steam room is Fantastic Sherlock Fox's favorite. But so they do have one of those, and the one downtown's fairly upscale from what I understand. Nice towels, and Fox has paid for the level of subscription, so he would qualify like some of the business people and lawyers downtown, where pretty much you show up with your gym attire and your own shoes. Obviously whatever you're gonna wear, and then but they actually they'll supply you with all the towels and soaps and whatever you might need. Okay, this one has the blue on the outside. All right. So there would be actually not a whole ton for him to take, and it might fit in his backpack. I think his business backpack might even have a slot in it for shoes and such. I can't quite recall. We've looked at a bunch of different backpack videos over the years that are similar, Okay, so we've got, I'll show you the thing now. So we've got from the inside, got the little TV in the attic, I guess. And then there's a little bedroom up there with a slot for a window. And then here's the front of the house. We're on to bag 4, which I'm assuming is going to have a whole ton of balloons. So give me a quick second to grab that one, and I shall be right back. All right, we're back. So this is the 4th and final bag, and as we did with the bags or the Lego on the Stream weekend, I'm just going to sort the piles a little bit on the table here, but not actually bother with putting them in trays and things. It just makes everything a little bit faster. We can start to see they've got a bunch of half circle pieces, so we're going to be using a lot of these for the balloon sections, which the Up House is famous for. Got a bunch of the bottoms, and clearly it's going to be the tops. But I could just put them together now. It's so tempting to do so as part of the sorting. But if I do that, then I'll confuse myself and be annoyed if I mismatch numbers and whatever. I'll just wait till it tells me to do it. There's still good locations for families, more so than many of the iron gyms or even the gyms that target professionals. Yeah, I could totally see that. They are definitely good spots for that. And the one downtown, actually, is a really nice location. They keep their facilities in really good shape. Not only is it popular, but also that it's also a very nice spot for people who have a membership there. It's popular for the runners and the joggers and whatever to and use that as like the shower rooms and steam rooms before and after, but then they go run in the city park nearby because, you know, like they've got bicycle paths and whatever, so that people use that as a home base. And it's extra popular for that sort of thing on a drop-in fee basis when the city or the neighborhood, is having a like a public race. So down in that neighborhood was I don't know, a popular place to start and end road races, whether it be walking or running. And so the Y down there is great for that, which means that they have enough, throughput that it's worth it for them to spend the money on keeping the facilities looking really nice. Okay. I think I've got all the bits and bobs, sort of, on that one. Let's go to some of these other small bags. Well, it's kind of funny when in the south part of the city, we have for some of these iron gyms, as Fantastic Sherlock Fox says, the iron gyms are trying to be more, how do I put it? Gender friendly, I suppose, but you still get the power lifters or the real manly men type of people. And they have additional rooms that used to be other rooms. You can definitely tell they reno them after the fact, sort of deal. And those other rooms are now where they put in like spin classes and what do you call them? Like step classes. And what else have we got? Not step dance, but like step boards, aerobics. And while that's all well and good, when you can tell they've been other rooms before they became those things, it's definitely a bit of an afterthought for trying to get more women to go to the gym, because those types of things are frequently more popular for them, or more of the cyclist, runner, potentially nerd set. Those kind of seem to be more into the Pilates and spin and that sort of stuff. But the other thing you find actually in the one nearest us, like the big iron gym nearest us, I think is it nearest us? Might be. Anyway, they've also got big iron gym, and then quite literally next door in the same warehousey type building, they have a gym targeted at women. You know, and the sad part about it, from what I hear or heard in the past about the membership, is that the childcare rooms are not in the iron gym. So if you have a parent, like say a single dad or something, who has to take his young kid to the gym with him because they need childcare while they work out, you can't go to the iron gym type building because there just is no childcare for your kid. But if you, but if you're a lady, that's generally normal and I shouldn't say expected, but unsurprising to have a childcare room in the ladies' gyms, which is kind of this far down. You would think, or you would hope, that people have smartened up, but no. You would hope. Any case, so more and more of them are trying to become family gyms, and frequently you'll find actually that some of these ones, this particular case, I don't know if it is the case anymore, but some of them where they do the next door thing like that, you'll actually find out that the ladies' gym is actually owned by the iron gym, and they just put them back to back, and then they have like the childcare room in the middle, and you'll see embarrassed, muscle-bound dads, trying to sneak in just long enough to drop their kid off at childcare and sneak back out again and not get seen by other guys. And that frustrates me a little bit because, yeah, I am a lady, but still, I don't think guys, muscle-bound or otherwise, should ever be embarrassed to be parents. Particularly when their kids are young. Like, it's one of those, kids have to be young at some point, and then when they get older, of course, some of these guys are also proud of their kids because they've turned out to be something amazing, and it's like, come on, guys. Be pleased with your kids the whole time. Cool. I hope it's a good trip. Alright, so we've got the first part of that bag done, so it starts a little yellow square. It's not too complicated. We're making the window to go in the side of the house. Window frame. And then we have a second one. Interesting. It's a very deep window frame. We only have one actual window. Okay, which way do I want to put it? Let's put it this way. Retreat. Ooh, sounds good. Fantastic Sherlock Fox has talked about a retreat, going on some sort of retreat for eons. But there's always a logical reason for him not to. And I sometimes tease him about it. Just like, one day just do it, buddy. But then, as I say, there's always reasons. And so I'm glad your husband's able to do so. I go to scout camps, and the older the kids get, the more independent they become, as we've talked about, as in the older kids have to do their own breakfast and whatnot, which means that there's supervision rules, of course, and there is learning to be done. Like, we have to teach knife skills and so forth. But sometimes, during the actual activity, it's kind of like a, wind-up toy, for lack of a better term. You wind them up, you tell them what the instructions were, and you let them go, and you just supervise. Which, the funny part is, it means that part of our drive kit has become a folding chair, because you just sit at the campfire. I think it's still available. Yeah, this is part of the, you can see a picture on the right-hand side. That's actually from the box without the background. And this up house is from the Disney 100 Years series. And I'm pretty sure it's still available. But I don't dig too deep, so if Fox says it's available, I'll go with it. The reason I don't dig too deep is for some of the ones that were gifts to me, for whatever the reasoning is, then I don't want to spoil it by looking up pricing by mistake. Okay, so this one, set aside and bring back the house. So this is our window right in here. There we go. Interesting. All right, so where are we next? Looks like we're doing weather vane stuff. Okay. Partway up. We got chicken too? Ooh, there's chicken. Do I get chicken on here? Yay! I get to put a chicken on the top. I shouldn't be that impressed, but honestly, this is the chicken. I love it. It's cute. It's silly, but it's cute. The little piece on the bottom, and then it just pops on up the top. Come on. Oops. Too deep. Oh no! I disconnected the pole from underneath. Let's push that up a little bit. Apparently the chicken inside didn't have enough depth to stick on its own, and now I've noticed where the... There we go. We talked about this a little earlier, but sometimes I can be kind of fussy. I don't think it'll show on the camera, but right at the end of my fingernail is the little sort of the, I don't know, ding, whatever you call it. It's injection molded plastic that Lego is made out of, and so I like to try and hide some of those when I can, or at least make them less notable. So can I get this? There we go. That's better. That's better. Chicken's not quite straight. There we go. Alright, so we're making what looks like it's going to be the hose winder, I suppose, for the garden hose. I'm not entirely sure, actually. Let's set the house aside and see what we've got. One of the things I'm actually realizing, and I haven't delved too much, but there are some sets, I guess, that, you know, yes, they're retired, for sure. However, unless they have super, super custom pieces, they, if you can't find the set, usually, it ends up being slightly more expensive, but usually you can actually order the parts you need from Bricklink. Which, it's kind of funny because it sounds like it shouldn't be owned by Lego, but it is. So it's not Lego Bricklink, it's just Bricklink. Oh, there are four corners, okay. So, I figured there are some sets that I quite like that I missed, that at some point I could either order the parts from Lego, or potentially look and see if I have the parts kicking around, or if I can get them easily from a local bulk shop, and just order and or download the PDF instructions for a set. Now, that said, I will note, though, that I'm not doing all that well finding all the parts for an old Harry Potter set. It's a part of the Harry Potter set. That's part of the part. That's a bit of the challenge. Is there was a Diagon Alley set. So they've released 2 Diagon Alley sets. Oh, and what did I miss? Yeah, I missed one. There were 2 Diagon Alley sets, a more recent one and an older one. And I like the older one better. And I got gifted basically 2/3 of it from one of Fantastic Sherlock Fox's old co-workers, because she was moving out of the country, and so she was selling off some of her son's Lego, but couldn't create a full set out of this one. So she just said, hey, do you want the incomplete sets? I'll ship them to you from the US. I don't remember what Fantastic Sherlock Fox, if anything, had to pay for it. Might have been the cost of shipping. I'm not entirely sure how that story went anymore. But the point is, I've got 2/3 of it, and I like it a lot. So I'm trying to find the parts to build the Gringotts Bank that goes with it. Unfortunately, that's not exactly easy. I should probably spend more time, and I may do so while Fox is at work and kids are at school some days, to go back to one of the sort of bulk used Lego shops and try and go through more of their bins to find the parts. Because I'd like to complete that one, but it's just, it takes time, and when we go, she donated them, awesome. So it takes time to go through the bins to get the parts. Let's see, which one is this? That's a clear one, I think? Okay. Yeah, okay, so he says she donated them, which would suggest then that we didn't even pay for the shipping. I mean, given how much I'm into Harry Potter Lego, I would have gladly done that because it's a set from 2011, I believe. And frankly put, I was busy like learning how to be a mom in 2011. Though some of the sets that are that old really don't appeal to me. Okay, let's see if we can get this one to go. So there's a lot of them I wouldn't repeat because back in the early days they were just not detailed enough. And so I didn't want to repeat those. But with... Oh, okay. I'm going to have to move some of the stuff so I can get the house just to lay down flat. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to show a lot of this. Squirrel! There's a squirrel for Doug. Love it. Oh, we're going to have to do this 3D. Okay. I guess you guys get to see from the top down. Let's try and see if I can zoom this out. I know we're going to have a lot of little pieces. I go overhead cam, properties, configure, camera control. I can get some zoom out. Exactly! Exactly! I keep meaning to put more in here, but for sounds and things, but I forget. Okay, there's my messy desk. Bit of the messy desk. Let's go this way. Oh, that's the shirt. Don't want that. All right, so I think we've got about as good as we're going to get. The camera's just going to be all wonky-loo all over the place. Just because I've got more height. Like the camera, if you see where my hand's going, this weird, like my hand just disappeared. There we go. So there's the camera that we're using to see the desk. For those that asked a tech question a few weeks ago, this is a Logitech C920. And it's just a good old webcam that just points down at the desk. And I've got it on a low pro, supposedly low pro camera, or not the word, a microphone. What is the word, Fox? Jeepers creepers. Basically a microphone boom arm, I guess, but it's low profile. So really there's like just enough room for me to get my hand underneath the bottom corner of it to move the mouse around so I can scroll my instructions. Yeah, mic boom. There we go. Thank you. See? Fox knows lots. So I need a clip, and so we're making a lot of these balloons. Let's go with the numbered side. So on all the little clip pieces, there is, unfortunately, like there's the injection mold points on the various sides. I'm trying to decide which side I want out, because it actually turns out that I can't really hide them that well anyway. So we've got one back here, and then one in the front. And I'm sure I'll be forever adjusting things, because, you know, can never be satisfied. At pure straight out numbers, I will say the Americans get a better deal on Lego than we do, like pure straight out numbers. But I mean, then there's also, you consider currency conversion. But yeah, it's really quite nice. So these two go there, kind of level for now, because that looks level in the picture, more or less. Let's turn this. I got somewhat similar angle to the one above. Hey, I finally got the angle. How'd that work out? Pure luck. Okay, so now we've got yellow, the yellow balloon together. And then we stick that on a rod. We've got a lot of this part. Balloons! Balloons, balloons! And it's not one where people can actually have, you know, a fear of the whole thing popping. Because that sucks. When balloons pop, and you've got people that, apparently there's a phobia of that. So it's actually the fear of balloons popping. Which sounds insane, but I feel sorry for people who have that. And the resulting effect, of course, is they're afraid of balloons that aren't likely to pop, just because they never know if the things will pop. Okay, those red ones. Huh. Interesting. So, just interesting to me. You probably can't see it, but I'll show you the difference real quick here. Let's go with, I know we're going to have another yellow balloon, so let's make one. So the difference I was just looking at, where's the bottom half? So yellow bottom halves have the 4 dots in them, okay? And the red ones, for example, don't. What happens, how that affects things, the red is just like a ridge. How that affects things is on a yellow balloon, the side, this is like kind of crazy lighting, the side fills in the nice little gap, right? But on the red ones, because they don't have those 4 bumps, then you get basically divots in the balloons all the way around. I kind of wish that wasn't the case, but that's what they sent, so that's what we're going with. I just noticed it when the purple ones don't have the divots, the way the yellow ones don't have divots, but both the, well, not both, the blues, the red ones, and the green ones all have those divots. Okay, now they go up. That's kind of cool. Right, next, green. Like the dreaded Jack in the Box. Yeah, exactly. Some people don't like Jack in the Box. There are people that actually have a phobia of that. I sometimes think that the phobia words, like the official words for some of these phobias, are invented. I'm surprised they're not getting cheesier and cheesier, I guess is probably another way of putting it. Because, like a Jack in the Box, for example, is one of those things that because it's a toy, the phobia for it couldn't have existed until the toy existed, right? Balloons, technically, the phobia for that couldn't have existed until balloons existed. But I say technically on that one because apparently, according to some scholars, I guess, whatever you want to call it, that the phobia for balloons also apparently had something to do with like the risk of breaking open. I don't know why it's got anything to do with that. The risk of breaking open a water skin. I think that's garbage, but you know, myths happen. Okay, so then now we've got blue and red. Okay, so we've got blue. We can see blue's got the divots and pieces. Right. Red. Oh, put them together properly, Dylan. Hole for the string and the clip. Having had to, oh, they get in further. 2x. Oh, I did these wrong. Aha, should be the gray ones. Okay, so this one, it's a gray bar. In, much deeper than the clip on that. That goes in on this side. I should fix the blue one because it's wrong. For some reason I thought they were all the white ones, but they're not. Okay, there we go. Ah. It says I updated the stream info, but I didn't really. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, the green ones. Okay, let me double back. Double back. Yeah, okay, so the green ones should have been the gray poles as well. Okay, if I actually pay attention to the instructions, we'll make something that looks good. That's better. Makes more sense. So as you can imagine, this part's a little on the fiddly side just because there's a lot of them. But of course the up house needed a lot. I've actually had to inflate balloons for parties and stuff before. At one point, I actually had a job that required me to do that. And being the one on the inflating system, great until you have to tie a bazillion knots. You get so tired of tying the knots for the balloon strings. So this is, pardon me, nice and quick and fast. Quick and fast? Yes. Really, that's a word? Maybe? So this one goes... 1 sec. I backtracked, right? Okay, greens, those, and up. Okay, so let's leave that one aside. Figure out what to do with it later. So reds have a white pole on it. It is really neat how they did the balloons. I'm actually quite impressed with that. I mean, some of them, like these, the actual part for the balloon itself, I sort of expected. Just my son's been doing Lego builds over the years that have had, say, like a gas tank for a science station or something. So I've seen that several times, but I've not seen a bunch of the like the uses of the pole, little rod with clip on the end. That's really kind of neat for me. I like that. This one goes on the opposite side. So I love it how they're doing the opposites every time to balance everything off, and then you just flower bouquet sort of lift them up. I'll put a link in your Discord to the Lego video of the Girl Guides actually floating away, the oversized version. Was the Girl Guides or was the Girl Scouts? I can't recall. I mean, both organizations would be just as goofy. This one is down. Oh, they turned the house. That's it. Okay, turn the house. There we go. Blue on a long pole, so I'll... Actually, I'll save that one again. I'll just make another one. Yeah. Both groups can be, goofy at times and do silly things. Because they can. And, I would not be surprised if they also did, their big stunt as part of a charity fundraiser. Like that seems to be the kind of thing Girl Scouts frequently do. Jeepers creepers. I don't know why, but I don't normally pay attention to exactly what song is playing until this particular one comes on. And this song is called For the Spectacle by Power Druid. Uh-huh. Sweet. On my Spotify, they've changed the layout on one of the settings, and it's frustrating me. I used to be able to see the playlist of what's coming next as a main screen piece, like as in a big section in their screen, but unfortunately, they've changed that, so it's no longer a big piece. It's just a little skinny column on the side, which is great, except for the fact that right now that hides behind my microphone. Like, all of it does. So, that's okay. We're fine. Got the little pop-up on the screen. That's what we needed. Just double-checking as I say that to make sure. Yeah, okay. Should be high enough we saw it. Okay. So we're just about done this level. Got the 4 balloons, and I'm gonna bet you the next instructions to fold them up. It's one of those things. Uh-huh. There we go. So you can start to see the bouquet forming. See if I can pull this a little closer. The lighting is sus, but could be worse. Alright, so now we've got green on a short pillar. 2 greens on short pillars. If I actually build the whole balloon, that would help. It goes... Turn the house back the other way. Okay, I've got the purple and the red in the right orientation. Okay, greens go in between. They're shorter. Wow. The light is really bright today, but I don't know about pulling it away. One goes over here. Actually get it to go. There we go. Aha, see, I told you there'd be a blue on a short pole at some point. One down. This way, and I need a red. Oops. Short pole. Stick. They get the short end of the stick. Don't worry, you won't get bad jokes like that all week. Because it's Friday. See? Kind of hard to get them all week when it's already Friday. Let's lift these 4 up. That looks kind of cool. I like the way it's going. Long again. So we have a lot of long, short, long, short, long, short. Let's pull this green piece out of the way. Move the poles so they're all where I need them to be. It makes it easier to grab. Yes, yes. The back is indeed open. So you've only got part of the house, and then on the inside you can actually see the inside of the house. If Fox has a moment later on, I'll see if I can get him to go find the little flashlight by my bedside table upstairs, because my phone's kind of tied up at the moment. But you can see inside, and we've got the door and so forth. And then we've got, I'll flip this over. So we've got enough porch that I can actually have poor little Russell standing on the porch as the house takes off, which I think I probably will do. That'd be kind of cool. Oh. Well. Yes, thank you. Making wonder. Alright, so, okay, the Technic pins in the back were actually, they were naked for a long time, as in nothing on them. And then that's how we stuck the household chimney on top. So the pins are actually holding on the chimney, and at the moment there's no more exposed. Yeah, so that's what those are. The connections, I'm not sure specifically which connections you're referring to. I like some of my favorite ones are these little 2x1 pieces that have a little flat connection that go into them for hinging, and that's how we're doing the roof pieces. They just sort of like hinge on. Get the angles. There was some really neat stuff in the first part of the build with regards to how this bottom room was done. We built ourselves like a little gramophone, and there's a lamp in behind there. And I think we've got a few other things. There's a couple like printed pieces and stuff in there that's pretty neat. So I will lay it down and get a good flashlight look at it before we're done today, for sure. Ooh, yeah. It's a really nice house. Like I don't have all the Disney 100 series. I don't have space for it, but there are quite a few builds in that series that I would have very much been interested in, having if I had unlimited space. I mean, there's actually quite a lot of Lego I would have if I had unlimited space. As I suspect a lot of people would. I do admit sometimes when I watch people online who are doing reviews of Lego or whatnot, that I sort of envy them a little bit in terms of the fact that they've spent money to do so. However, that said, there's a gentleman by the name of Brixie that I watch a fair bit, and he lives in the city about 3.5 hours north of me, so technically I could go visit if I really wanted to, because my brother lives up in that city, as does our friend Arc Thunder, who I don't know in person, but hey, I could have a meetup if I wanted to. But anyways, the gentleman Brixie has actually, he had it in his house, had lots of Lego in his house. It was going all up and down the stairs, all throughout the basement. He had a very, very large city he was working on, and it sounded to me like he didn't have a day job except through his YouTube videos and Lego reviews and such, by being part of their partner program. So I don't know how they managed to do it in their house, but anyways, they found the funds to rent? Is it rent or purchase? I can't recall. But they got basically an entire warehouse unit. So, for example, like our soccer association that we're a part of actually bought an indoor facility, and like a warehouse indoor facility, so they could actually have soccer fields in there, and it was still quite pricey, and apparently with renos for a long time. Okay, where did I miss? There's only 2 for the blue here. I'm just like, what did I fell asleep and rolled one too far forward. There we go. Purchased, surprisingly. Okay, so he purchased it. But Brixie still had some renos to do because he needed to be able to make sure that he had open space for various parts of his city and such. But it's private, as far as I can tell. Which would be super awesome, though, to make, like by charge or by appointment only. But he actually bought this, like, indoor soccer facility-sized warehouse for all his Lego and his Lego City. Which is going to be pretty insane. Although, I will admit I envy you a little bit, Dadcraft, because as far as I'm personally aware, we don't have a whole lot of LEGO users group type events in our region. There's some, but not much that I've ever had come to my attention. Like, sadly, we used to, not quite that big, okay, so half the size maybe, but quite sadly, we, like, I'm more aware of Macintosh users groups, like the ones that want the really old machines. Those, I'm more aware of those than I am of LEGO users groups. Yeah, okay. So, well, the thing is, a full indoor soccer field is about half the size of a city recreational outdoor soccer field. So, yeah, that gives you a ballpark idea. If you can figure it out in roughly square yards, that would be useful. I have no real clue. But it was not cheap, and I was quite surprised, but he was so excited. Like, did all kinds of vlogs and stuff about moving day and taking his stuff apart. But I still envied him a little bit because his back wall had tons and tons of the sets of drawers that you can buy at, like, craft shops for your organizing materials. And I've got one set, but it doesn't hold Lego. It holds other things. And he just had, like, one of his back walls was nothing but those floor to ceiling. And inside that, he had a bunch of little trays or bins for his various parts inside that, which is not the world's most space efficient. On the other hand, the drawer itself, as we've found at our local bulk bin type place, they are a little too big, really, to put on your table workspace. When you've got, oh, whoops. I didn't turn the house, so I put these on wrong. When you've got the table workspace, the drawers are too big, so he put these other small trays inside, but they don't fit exactly. Whereas I would expect if he had a 3D printer, which I don't believe he had room for and probably doesn't own. If he had a 3D printer, he would probably be able to, did I get the right number now? Yeah, 212. He would probably be able to custom fit things to his drawers. That's kind of where I would be at. I've seen ones for, say, card sorting, like a Magic the Gathering cards kind of thing, or other types of trading cards. Card sorting trays that fit inside, they say, standardized IKEA drawers. And these things fit inside that. And so, I mean, that concept appeals to me. I just don't currently own enough Lego that's not currently in a project to really have to worry about it. Like, literally, it's still, for me, my spare parts bin fits in an embroidery thread sorting case. I have two of them, actually. And then I've got more of those embroidery thread sorting cases that have smaller dividers in them. I picked up at the dollar store because they were cheap. That actually turned out to be just about the right size for my excess minifigs. Just the ones that I don't have a place for at the moment. This is getting big. Do we have more? Aha! We have fences. Wait a minute. That's interesting. So I'm looking at my spare parts here. Ah, I see. Okay. It's not really spare parts yet. I was gonna say, it looks like spare parts because I stopped with the roof, but it's not, because there's balloons off the ground where it looks like Carl was loading, like, inflating balloons in advance before he tied them on the roof. Which, of course, is interesting because he tied them on the roof, and yet I have no idea how... They don't show you in the movie. I have no idea how on earth that old guy ever got up to the roof to tie anything to it. In the movie, I believe, like we do have in the Lego as well, that he's tied them through his chimney. As in he's got the string going up through his chimney instead of his fireplace sort of thing. However, I'm not really sure how that would work. You know, my brain wants to logic that out. I don't know, call it divergence or whatever. But anyways, the point is, my brain wants to figure that one out. I'm sure the gals who were involved in floating something closer to reality size probably have an answer to that. My assumption would be you have to feed one balloon up through the chimney at a time. Otherwise, it just wouldn't fit, but I don't know. Oops. 1, 2, yeah. This one. Oh, I'm doing stuff behind the camera. Sorry, guys. Apologies. Okay, so we've got a white one with a clip, and then another white one with a clip. And yes, we've got glare, because you do, apparently. Go, camera, go. Sometimes it kicks that for me, and other times it does not. And it looks like it's going to not this time around. Overhead cam. Properties. Figure. Control. Exposure down, please. Hello? There we go. That's better. Not ideal, but it's better. Apply. Okay. The thing about this particular camera, and I don't know if it's the camera's fault or if it's OBS's fault, but every time I go to do a stream, it readjusts exposure settings. It drives me crazy. Okay. The one that they floated was 90 pounds or 68,000 pieces. Only 90 pounds though, that's not bad. I mean, that's, you know, like half the weight of an average adult, which is kind of cool. Let's see, so... Scientific Shot Fox says regarding the warehouse, Brixie actually bought a complete light commercial or industrial bay and renovated it. After using 200 balloons to float the one I'm building, okay. 200 balloons to float the one I'm building? That's kind of sad. They calculated they would need... Oh, I see. Okay, sorry. Their 90-pound version of the one I'm building. They calculated they would need 10,000 balloons to lift the big one. Oh, no, I was wrong. So 200 to float this model. Really? How big are their balloons? Okay, now my brain's chewing on this. And almost wondering, okay, 200 for the one on my desk. Yeah. Okay, that's almost a challenge. Expensive, but that's almost a challenge. Maybe. We'll see if someday I do that. I don't know. We'll throw it on the someday list, right, Fox? I joke, as I said, about the now and the not now list. We'll put that on the not now list and see if it ever becomes the now list. But somehow I don't have... Like, I'm not really sure I believe that it would take 200 for this. It's not in the closet. It's under my desk here, actually. I kicked my toe on it yesterday. So yeah. But I mean, the other thing though is, we'd end up needing to find... I'd have to watch the video more and see if I figure out, okay, 200 balloons to float the one the size of the one on my desk. On the other hand, you know, how big are the balloons, right? Because if they're talking the scale of this size, then yeah, I could see 200 to actually do it. So you probably would want potentially something along the size of the water balloons that you can buy. The problem is the water balloons are designed to break easy, so you couldn't put enough helium in them to actually inflate them correctly for what you're trying to do. If you were building bigger, like with more regular sized party balloons, then I don't know if you'd really need 200. I'd be curious. Yeah, that's the other thing, is how fast, right? In the movie, it takes off relatively slowly. So, probably didn't need quite so many. The other thing too is like you could look at it a little bit like they do with real hot air balloons, where the acceleration and such is often controlled a little bit by, the sandbags they've got on the side, and if they need more lift, they drop a sandbag. Usually it's before they get too far off the ground, just because you would end up with a lot of problems if you're, 200 feet up in the air over some random spot and you just drop a sandbag. I mean, my kind of luck, if I tried something like that, I'd find some sort of ex-war vet or something that would freak out. or a senior who grew up in the era of 30,000 air raid sirens at school. It's one thing my mother still tells me stories about, and her older sister as well, was things that even in Canada, although we were far less troublesome than some other countries, they still had air raid siren practices in the 50s and 60s. Most of the 50s, but yeah. So I'm not really sure what the box is. I think the box is supposed to be his box of parts. And I just put one of those on backwards. There we go. That's really neat usage of this cheese slopes to give you the like the open cardboard box feel. Goes down right next to the tank. And then this part here is just a mailbox. Or, well, it's either the mailbox or it's the newspaper delivery box. Frequently houses have two different ones. And considering the movie they show that his house has been there for a coon's age, and then some, that I suspect he probably had an ancient mailbox that had enough room for his newspaper. Let's do this again. It's me hiding the shapes. Not all. Oop. I threw it in the house. Okay. That's new. Oops, daisy. So once again, it's the little claw markings I have to... In my head, I want to put them on the same side so that I can sort of hide them. Sort of, kind of. So they're both on the one side, and then I'll put it on in such a way that it's less noticeable because of the fence. And it's probably supposed to be even, so I'll put it that way. Hard to tell from the angle whether it's too far back. Might be at the front. I don't know. No, it looks better in the middle. Let's leave it like that. All right. Good question. I was originally going to go till 1 MST, which would be an hour and 20 minutes from now, but I don't know what I've got planned after this one, which we may not have a whole ton left to do. So I really don't have an answer for you yet, Fox. I really wish I knew, but I don't. If you're asking regarding lunch for our house, I'd be more concerned about the youth, because my daughter's having a play date. So she's going to bring a friend over. And both my daughter and my son have half days on Fridays. Yeah. Half days on Fridays. Okay, and then the blue one just gets a regular white hole. Fits in this side. Nope. How did? Okay. Put that in the clip. Looks like they did, right? And then this one, I don't want it to collide with the other one, so I need to clear it. But it doesn't seem to have clearance if I put it up at the same level. I have to have it quite low for it to actually clear, which is a bit odd. Okay, whatever. I'll go with it. So we'll see how we go in terms of like how close we are to the top of the hour. That's probably the best bit, because we may not have a whole lot more. The other part of that is I've got a couple of brickheads from the Potter line I want to finish, because they're taking up space on the far side of my desk. And that's not a big deal, but I can't repurpose those trays for other builds until I get them out of the way. Besides, my absolute favorite Potter character has been waiting for a while. Okay, so we've got this one on there. We'll turn it. And there's your helium can. Yeah, sorry that it's so small, of course, zooming in, zooming out, it's a bit of a challenge. And I knocked the mailbox. Yay! Alright, so got that one. And then there's a red balloon that goes on the thing because it's being inflated. That's an interesting twist. Okay. And got purple ones hiding out the side. Keep looking off to the side because I should have put the preview in behind. That would have been sensible. Let's move this. And preview. Nope. This one. Got it. That'll work. Okay. Now I'm not looking off to the side as frequently. So we've got the red balloon, and it's going... Ooh, it's going to... purple. Sorry, I can't count. That's going to go off the bottom on this piece. So I think... Nope, top. So we've got space up top. So he's got a bunch that are waiting to go into his house, I guess. There. And then there's a yellow one that goes beside. Should be the last of the yellow pieces. And it's a tall pole. This one, I think. Tall pole. Sorry. Reminded me of another oldie. I don't know why I get so many oldies stuck in my head. It's kind of insane. Like, my music taste is probably about 20 years older than I am, if not more. Actually, now it's... Well, let's just put it's older than me. I won't say how many years older. But it's older than me. Okay, so that's the yellow one. And then you can see Little Russell at the bottom. So right there, Little Russell's almost at the end of the page. So we are just about done. And I'm betting we do something with this squirrel who's just sitting there. And that's that. Yep, that's it. So the squirrel, that little squirrel, gets to sit on the side underneath the balloon. 1, 2, right here. Right under the balloon. He obviously doesn't have the phobia of balloons popping. And that's basically all she wrote. So let's get this one. There's the finished version in the picture. I'm going to tip this down. So there's our house. We've got the little yard section, right, where it's filling up the balloons. Oh, and the mailbox is still askew. That one has a very unsteady connection. It's the little teeny stud on the bottom, and that just doesn't stay on very well. Easy to knock. Okay, so we got that one. And I'll just grab the 3 minifigs that came with it. Pieces over there. So we've got Carl hanging in his house. And then I'll show that back of the house in a second. Then we've got Russell. Yes, that's where the Russell for Delenn Russell comes from. It's Russell, and he's got his backpack with his little cups and fork, his frying pan. I'm not particularly sure what this golden bit is. I think it's his trumpet. Or, sorry, his bugle. And then his binoculars. And then we've got Doug. Doug the dog, who's the one who's most famous for saying squirrel. So he's one of the random squirrel things. Let me just, do I have that one turned on? We did earlier. I think I saw it. Sound. This one. Of course, I have to get Alpha. So this is not that guy. That Alpha was the one that you just heard was the Doberman Pinscher, who was supposed to be the Alpha of the dog pack from the villain.
Squirrel!
There we go. And that's Doug and his squirrel. Alright, so I will let Doug sit over by the box for now. Oh, Doug, you and your squirrel, just like chill. Or not, maybe. He doesn't fit so well. Probably because of the squirrel being there. Okay, that's fine. And then Russell, at some point will fit on the porch. The problem with the Russell character, I'll show you in the, it's kind of hard to show. I put him on his side. He's fine, right? He just like flops over. But stand him up with his backpack. I actually have to have the cup in the right space to prop him up. Because he still tips over backwards. But if I move the cup like upwards, just so that it's sort of, I mean, it's not really hanging, but it's just out of the way, then little Russell keeps falling over backwards. Right? His backpack's bigger than he is. Which explains a lot in the movie, because I mean, he does the same sort of thing in the movie as well. He just keeps falling over. Till once he's brought into the house, Carl tells him to just put his backpack down, because it's just in the way. Okay, so, oops, we don't have Ellie for Ellie reasons. Ellie, it was Carl's wife and his adventure partner and so on. But yeah, Ellie is unfortunately, from the early part of the movie, deceased, and that part makes me cry every time I see it. So yeah, but their adventure book keeps falling out of the box. But we've got the main house with Carl's armchair, and then the fireplace, which is well positioned because down here, of course, you'd have the strings of the balloons coming in behind, and then tied at the bottom. They tied it to the log grate, I guess. And then what else we got in here? There's stacks of letters in the back, which are kind of hard to see. Let's see if I can get the light in there. Yeah. Okay, and then we've got this older picture up top. That's Ellie when she was older, before she got sick. And then there's their wedding photo in the back. And lights, please. Oh, maybe not. This one? Nope, guess not. So on this side is just... I'm not sure why we have random trees. Not particularly sure, but then there's a picture of Carl in a classic flight hat. That's the one I was thinking of. And then you can just barely see at the bottom, right up in here, the glass jar that they were using to save their coinage. So I can get that on the camera here. Nope. It says Paradise Falls on the side, and it's got pictures of printed coins. And that was a nice printed texture. I also got a kick out of the clock. That was one of my favorite parts to build. Alrighty, I think that's everything. And I've dropped a single gray stud from something in there that I don't know where it belongs, so I'll have to figure that out. It just fell out while I was doing things, pointing at stuff. But yeah, that's the up build. So, being as we have 10 minutes, I'm just going to slide these guys over. Where does this go? Okay. Let's just put that on the back for now, and I'll remember to look at it later. Maybe. Alright, so we've got that one out of the way. So what I'm going to do is, yes, we've got the pieces here. I'm actually going to just shut off the instructions, rather than putting up the correct ones. Or do I have them? Browse. I have the instructions. Easily findable. What's that? Documents. Lego instructions. I do. Okay. Oops. Cancel. Alright. And it doesn't want to show. Aha. So we've got the tail end of this one. I'm just going to finish up McGonagall because I've already got as far as her torso. And that'll just fill in a little bit of the last 10 minutes. So it's going to be a brick head. I don't think I'm going to bother changing the picture on the right-hand side at the moment. Where are we here? Okay, so we've got this on the front, and I think we did the top. Okay, what's next? 5%. That might help. Or not. Refresh on that. That didn't help. Okay. Zoom this way. Present. That's better. Now it fits the shapes better. Okay, so we've got as far as this one, and then we did the top. And now we're looking at bits on the sides. So I've got all of these in trays, so it shouldn't take forever and a day to get those ones. Oops. We'll pretend oops didn't happen. Alright. And let's move that batch, because those three, are the minifigs from the Orient Express. Right. Wolfen's running, but they've been up 2 hours. Jade just started 30 minutes ago, but Wolfen isn't up. Also, local brick shop streaming from their shop. Already. I mean, I would go extra, but I perfectly honestly don't think people want to see extra. You guys can tell me otherwise. But one of the I forgot to do's this week, which I didn't write it down. That's the problem. Is that I forgot to put up the poll I talked about last week to figure out what we were going to do for Lego. So I have to do that for next week. Oh, and I can get the overhead cam properties. Configure camera control. There we go. All right. So I have to write it down to do that. If Fantastic Sherlock Fox could do me a huge favor and write down somewhere a reminder, or I don't know, text me or something. Give me a sec. I'm pretty sure my phone won't hear the text. Streaming? Yeah, okay, we're fine. I just want to make sure that I actually write down to do it. So I actually do it this time. Okay, so this one goes over there, and then I have to do that again on the other side. 1, 2, 3, and then there's another one of those clips somewhere in my tan bucket. There should be. There it is. 1, and then that goes on the other side, facing downwards. Yeah, excellent. Came through and I heard it, but it wasn't super loud, so that's good. All right, so now we've got that part done. So now we're building onto the head section, which is fairly straightforward. Oops. I know a lot of the items in the poll, actually basically almost all of them in the poll will be Harry Potter themed. That's just my favorite IP. That said, there will be at least one in there that is not. It's a bit smaller, but it's still not. And so if it turns out that the non-Harry Potter one gets the most votes, then that'll be our primary focus, and I'll pick the second most popular one as the secondary focus should we finish. Because I've got, 2 more brickheads of characters that are lesser known, I suppose. Nymphadora, Tonks, and Kingsley Shacklebolt, I think it is. I remember. I bought them in Ireland last year. The non-Potter one, you really want me to show this, don't you? The non-Potter one is the lovely little bird's nest with flowers. So I suspect that'll probably get pretty high votes. When I post the poll, what I'm probably going to do, since I don't know how to do the polls the way DC's Discord does, because they're awesome, I will be posting a picture of the set, and then beneath it there will be a little icon, like the emoji, saying what it is, or not what it is, but like it'll be the emoji for that set. And then we'll just see how many counts we get on there. Obviously it's going to be -1 because I have to put it up there, but yeah, so that's going to be one of them. And then we've got a bunch of others, which I'll show off as soon as I finish this step, because I want to get that step done. 1, 2, 3. So the brickheads were being saved at one point for the build another step, but being that that feature is not super popular right now, even though it works well for Jade's crew, it's not something that seems to click. And I think people could just be tired of Harry Potter. That's possible too. But those are not getting redeemed, so I'm thinking about using them more as, I like them, but using them more as fillers for when I end up with not right to the hour Friday streams, but we'll see. Well, let's start to see if I can get caught up on the ones I've got, more or less, before I get too far into some of the other ones. But yeah, if it's repeatedly that the Potter ones are doing pretty poorly, then I will consider switching to something else. I am aware that Fantastic Sherlock Fox, more than, he enjoys building them, but more than the enjoying building them is enjoying displaying them because they're just awesome sets. So I am aware that I could probably build them and then give them back. That's fine, so we have that opportunity as well. In the same sort of way that someone like Local Brick Shop will build something on one of his Wednesday streams, and then, build something on one of his Wednesday streams, and then either sell it or give it away. Sell it in his shop or give it away as part of the stream thing. So yeah, sometimes that happens. And that allows him to experience far more sets than his finances could ever really logically cover. Logically, I don't really have any clue what his finances are really up to. Gray. Nope. What I'm looking for. L-shaped gray. No, I should probably mute the label. That label. This one, and we'll pull that one, and we'll pull the set image. There, we'll pull that. Pretties. That's fine. No worries. Do I have the other one handy? Do I have a picture of it? I don't. Okay, so what I'm going to do then... Instructions was a world... Okay, let's duplicate this one. Copy. Okay. To paste a reference. A reference. Uh-oh, that's not good. I'm going to paste that reference. This one. We're going to take that. I'm hoping by being a reference, it's not going to mess with everything. And interact with that one. Nope, it's going to mess with things. Okay, so I can't use that. Let's close that one off. Remove. Yes. Okay, so unfortunately, we're working on the McGonagall one. Where is... there we go. The expedient solution. There. We'll pretend that's going to work. All right, so, there we go. So we're now temporarily switched. We're finishing the Murder of McGonagall head. And I'm going to go till the head's done. I know I just ran over the hour, but if people have places they want to be and things they would rather do, by all means, fill your boots. I don't keep anybody here, but yeah, I'm just finishing this one up. Because I've been waiting for this McGonagall for a while, and it's, as I had said in my Discord yesterday a little bit, that streaming had become originally to be for me, like to enjoy something I was doing, and I just started streaming because I wanted to just share what I was up to, no particular reason. But things had changed over the years and I felt different about it. So, because I'm still here and I'm still enjoying, I'm just gonna do, you know? Alright. Where did I put that piece? There it is. I love these Gridfinity boxes, for the most part. We've talked about it before. The only part I'm not a fan of is the outside edge has a lip, which makes sense, but it's not easy. I'm just going to turn it around so that the white is a little more off screen because it glares funny. There we go. Alright, so we've got that one, and where did the wedge piece go? Oops, I'm not going to throw it. It belongs this way. So her ear. Interesting that they bothered to put ears on her. Roll it around. And rinse and repeat. And I can see the bucket better. Alright. This one. But yeah, so the brickheads will probably be fillers, I think. Unless people redeem the build another step. I found that that's always a good one for to do roughly midstream. Like I was doing that sort of thing when we had server reboots that were unfortunately coinciding with my stream, although that was a daylight savings time thing. At the moment, it doesn't coincide, in which case I don't have to worry about that. But here's the big but. However, should it turn out that there are people before and after me for whom it does collide, rather than being in the little seam in between my streams during the rest of the week, for, pardon me, the Minecraft server to reboot, then I generally expect that the fine folks who are dealing with those server reboot times will adjust for those that are before and after me, because I can always do, a couple minutes of Lego or some other time killer thing in the middle. It's not a problem. So yeah, and that's it. And it's also that way as a reminder of getting back to, where it all started. Or when you think about it, a bit of a do-over, right? Mulligans in life are always helpful. Yeah, there's a lot excuse me, there's a lot Mama Bear that I've been messing around with for a while. And yet, like points and redeems and, you know, this, that, and the other thing. But I realized not that long ago, related to the stuff I posted in Discord, but I realized not that long ago that by being a streamer in the midday slots, unless we have retirees or people with a lot of flexible freedom at their jobs, the midday slots are not ones that are good for interaction. So making an effort to drum up interaction is kind of futile, I guess, maybe? And that's not unnecessarily a bad thing. It's just something that takes a little bit of adjusting. And as you guys know, once you get me on a tangent, I can go for a very long time. I don't always end up in a good spot with the tangents. They can get off the rails pretty darn fast. That said, they're not necessarily an entirely bad thing. Okay, so I'm going to go with this. I want to be able to press on tight. That's why I didn't put that last plate on before I mounted it. There we go. Now I can put that on so that it doesn't look quite so freaky. There we go. So McGonagall's got a really high forehead. I'm not sure why they bother doing that. There's another I wish too that they haven't done with this model, and I may mock it. As in mock in the LEGO world. I don't think we've talked about this in my stream or DC's stream. But mock tends to mean my own creation, which when I say mock it for myself, it's not actually a creation. It's sort of my own tweaks and adjustments. Oh, black on black again. Sorry, guys. Apologies. But my own tweaks and creation or adjustments to things would be something like the McGonagall character in a lot of book descriptions has glasses the majority of the time. And they did glasses for the Brickhead for Albus Dumbledore. But as you can see in the top right corner, they didn't for McGonagall. That's really not showing well today. There we go. But you can see that they didn't for McGonagall, and I wish they had. So we'll see how much it annoys me after a while. And if it bugs me enough, then I will probably order some of the Albus Dumbledore eyes, because they actually have the eye part printed on the glassware. And I may end up ordering some of those just for the McGonagall character. Because the rims aren't perfect. Like, it would be very obvious of what I've done. But I think it's a little less jarring than not having glasses, because... Well, that's how they describe it in the books, and the first movie didn't have glasses. I will admit, yes, if you take a look at Maggie Smith in the later films, she doesn't wear glasses all that much at all. So I have to decide what sort of era. And we'll have to see, because a lot of the LEGO sets are doing mixed era pieces. Meaning that in later films she doesn't have glasses, but I don't think it had the same sort of stylings on the front of her robes. I'll have to double check because, hey, I love watching the films, why not? But yeah, they've done stuff like that before, where they've picked one thing and it didn't necessarily work with every particular possibility. That's actually one reason why I'm still I just noticed how bad they're underlit. Whatever. There we go. A little bit better, not much. 20? There we go. It's 20. Why not? Where was I at? Oh, yeah. Crazy rant. But one of the reasons I still buy Harry Potter Lego, even though, one could say, I've got the castle. I don't need another castle. Yes, but. Now, there are exceptions to that where things like Hagrid's hut, I probably don't need another one, except they've done it better this time in a different way. But the big thing that is different, I'm looking for, there it is. The big thing that's different this time is, yeah, lovely camera, is that they are doing different scenes. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at through this whole blathering on. So, for example, I've got two different versions of the Room of Requirement. And one is incredibly mundane because it is this scene from fifth movie, I think. I think it's the fifth movie, where the kids are trying to learn from Harry to be, they were calling it Dumbledore's army, but they're learning to defend themselves because Umbridge won't let them actually cast any spells in the Defense Against the Dark Arts class. This is really not reflecting well today. Okay. So black on black with a bunch of black pieces. Yeah. What I'm gonna do... Does that work? No. I don't know why it's just not reflecting well. Okay. Anyway. Said I'm gonna do this. Let's get through it. Flip it over. So anyways, where I was going with that was to say that she won't let them. And so they're hanging out. And so I've got little Patronuses and there's a dueling dummy and so forth in that one. And that's great. But then I've also got a version of the Room of Requirement, which is larger. And it's from the last movie where you see Harry and Ron and Draco, I think, as the minifigs in this one. But in the real one, they had at least one other one. I can't remember if it was Crabbe or Goyle. Maybe it was Blaze Zabini. But anyways, they've got some of Draco's fine compadres. Yay, more black on black. Camera, lights. Can you go this way, please? That way. Okay. So, they've got these guys hanging out in the Room Requirement, being a right royal annoyance, and setting things on fire, and so on and so forth. And so I've got that as a separate build, because it is what it is here. So let's go this way. We're gonna get glare, horrible glare, but it does offset things. So yeah. At one point, DC had asked me what camera I was using for the overhead, and now you're seeing all the foibles of how the setup needs improvement, but I have yet to figure out quite what I want to do. Anyway, so I have multiple sets of things like the Room of Requirement, and I think that's partly how LEGO is drawing in a lot of the fans that are still into the sets is by making them slightly different every time. It's not simply a reissue with later technology or later design. Okay, so now we've got the big feathers. 2, and deja vu, golden versions of the same little clips we were using in the Up House. I'm going to tip the hat. Yeah, okay, it reflects a bit. So we've got golden feathers that go in the clips. And unfortunately, they're marking where they actually had the wingding from the printing process. And this will go... Oh, wrong way. That will clip onto the bottom, if I can actually make it work. 1. And tip. Oh. Come on. Tip. I have to slide it. I don't know if I'm going to get that to stay. Maybe? If I push too hard, it tips downwards. So I have to be careful on that one. And then one more on this upper feather. Noting on the instructions book off to the side. Oh, and I've just disconnected inside. Great. So that's going to take a little fiddling to get it just right, because it doesn't want to stay. Probably not worth doing on camera. Let's just leave it like this for now, because it's sitting inside in a weird way. Yeah. Got to get it twisted differently. So anyway, that needs some improvement. But where was I going with this? There was a reason at some point. Okay, so this little clip underneath is going to fit in the hinge section underneath, which is hard to see, the 2x1. But that's why her head's at an angle, or her hat's actually at an angle, which is not normal for kids. Usually they're horribly painfully square. Come on, Glenn. There we go. So now her hat's on her head. And we are just finishing up the tail end of the base, I believe. Oh yeah. this one, or her hair, I suppose. Okay. 1. 2. That looks good. I'm glad. Yeah, I will take some better pictures of that. I get to post it in the Lego channel on my stream, and or on my stream, on my Discord, and potentially throw one better one of the actual thing in DC's Discord in an off-topic channel. Just because as part of his stream team, I can do that until he tells me otherwise. All right, and then. Yeah, hindsight 2020, you know, maybe the red might have been a better one, but I already had the stuff in the white bins. Like the hat too, really well done. Yeah, it's very neat. I love the way it bends to the side. So you can see the contrast up against the white trays. Just, I want to get the feathers to tip downwards a little bit more, but I've actually loosened one of the front ones, actually wiggling around a little bit because I've somehow disconnected the little pan inside. I'm gonna have to see if I can wiggle those a bit. But otherwise, it's doing good. It's my favorite, probably my favorite Brickhead, but it happens to be my favorite character as well. So we got that. We got that going on for it. Let's throw it up there, I guess, for now. Stay. Stay! Woof. Alright. We've got those two, and I need 2x1. She is too cute, for sure. For sure. Some of the Brickheads look really, really good. Some of the Brickheads that are not just Harry Potter ones, but some of the Brickheads have looked really ridiculous. Very good case in point. I was kind of disappointed when I saw it with the Stitch Brickhead from the movie Lilo and Stitch. And I was hoping they could have done better and, you know, so on and so forth. But it turned out worse than I had imagined in that respect, where the Brickhead became the one that looks good. Okay, so she's going to have a goblet in one hand and a wand in the other. Let's see, tan? Yeah, well, why not? But I thought the Stitch Brickhead looked weird. When I finally saw the sort of bigger build of Stitch that Lego had made, I was disappointed, I'll give you that. Because it looks really ridiculous. It kind of turns Stitch into something that looks a bit more, in my mind, like a dilapidated version of one of the green gremlins from Gremlins 2. Okay, so we're just building the base now. So McGonagall's virtually done. I'll just tip her down that way. So we've got base that goes, this one goes to the front, this one goes in the middle. There's the flat plate for the back. There we are. All right. I have a couple of extra wedge slopes kicking around. And a few other small bits and bobs that I'm not particularly sure if I should have put them somewhere, didn't find it. But I think that is basically it, because I don't see... There's probably spares. Oh, I missed something on the hat. That would be why. 1, 2. On the side. See? I did miss something. I get talking and I miss something. There, that's better. So now it's sloped all around. Alright. And then she can stand. They need to actually put more studs on here. I understand they want them easy to remove, but frankly, only 2 is not very good holding. Oh, come on. I'm hearing cracks and snaps as though I'm breaking something else in the meantime. Okay, so that's how she stands. There's McGonagall. And she's done. I did not expect to take a half hour for that. Apologies all around, but yeah, she's done. Alrighty. And you know, some of these ones, I might actually just throw the booklet up in the corner. I think that would be a little easier than going to get the covers, or like the pictures, but we'll see. Okay, so we really will be headed out now. Pardon me. Partly because I've got a set of hiccups I can't seem to deal with. Let's see, who have we got who's live at the moment? I know we had some suggestions earlier. I'm just going to see if they're still around. Oh. You know you've poisoned your Twitch list when the first, 3 or 4 items up there have absolutely nothing to do with Minecraft or Lego? let's go with... I'm gonna bet most likely the crew we have hanging out at the moment are actually Minecrafters. So I think Wolfen's probably gonna be up for about another half hour to 40 minutes, so let's head over there. We're gonna head on to Wolfen. That's the best bit at the moment. Jade doing Stardew, Carnage doing MC, and Local doing sorting. Why is it that you're seeing different things than I am? Oh, yep, there's Jade's. Did Jade just start? Carnage Joe doing Minecraft. Yes. Weird. Okay, yeah, so we're gonna head up Wolfen and join over there, and then she can go wherever she wants to be. But yeah, in the meantime, I'll get that that poll thing set up so you guys can actually tell me what I should do next week. On Monday or Tuesday, actually most likely Monday, I'll be back doing some Minecrafty stuff. Don't know exactly what, but we'll get there. And then sometime next week, we will be trying out the brand new game Manor Lords, which I will be playing a combat-free mode. I just don't have interest in the medieval combat stuff. So yeah, we're going to be doing it as a city builder to start. And then if things end up more interesting down the road and it's appropriate to move into the combat section, I might a little bit, but I'd rather learn the city building side of it. So that's where we're going to go, giving you a couple of ideas for next week. And yeah, I will see you. Have yourselves a fantastic weekend. So let's get the raid started over to Wolfen, I believe, if I can find the button. There we go. Press it. No problem.
Mischief managed.
Mischief managed indeed. So thanks everybody who came by. Apologies to anybody who showed up late. And if you're just working and lurking, that's all cool. In the meantime, please do give Wolfen my best. As usual, if you guys have any suggestions, feedback, pro, con, or otherwise, you can always drop them in the Discord. If you're the emotes type, there's, a couple of different options there. And we'll see you on the flip side. Bye-bye for now.
Transfer complete.